They lost you. And they don't even understand what they lost yet. One day, it will hit them. Not because you left, but because they never saw your worth. And when they finally realize,
it will already be too late.
So listen carefully. Because people like you don't disappear quietly. You leave behind silence that they can never escape. It wasn't like you decided to leave them one day. You were the one who reached out first, every time. The one who remembered birthdays, anniversaries, even the little things no one else noticed. You sent messages when they went quiet. You stayed when they pulled away. You gave more than you thought you had, because you believed in people, in them. And for a while, it felt natural. You thought this is what relationships were supposed to feel like, giving, caring, showing up, even when no one else did. But slowly, very slowly, something started to shift. The calls went unanswered. The effort you gave, ignored. The words you spoke, forgotten. And each time, you felt it. That pit in your stomach, that quiet ache, that whisper inside your chest saying, "Am I the only one trying?" And you started noticing things you tried to ignore before, the way they took you for granted, the way they assumed you'd always be there. The little things that added up until they became heavy, until it weighed on your heart more than you could carry. And yet, you stayed. You stayed out of hope, loyalty, or maybe because you thought it would get better. But deep down, you already knew something was changing. You felt it in the quiet moments. In the small silences. In the spaces where their care should have been. And that's when your inner voice began whispering. That maybe, it's time to stop chasing. It didn't happen all at once. There wasn't a single moment when you woke up and decided, enough. It was in the little things. The text left unread. The call you answered alone. The effort you gave, that went unnoticed. And slowly, the weight of it all began to settle in. That quiet realization that you were giving more than they were willing to give back. You started noticing the patterns you had tried to ignore, the way your kindness was expected, but never appreciated. The way they smiled when things were convenient, but turned away when it mattered. And in those moments, it hurt. Not because they were cruel. Not because they meant to hurt you. But because they didn't see you. They didn't see the effort, the patience, the heart you poured into every word, every gesture, every second you gave. And that's when the truth hit you. The truth that had been whispering inside you the whole time, that sometimes, people only recognize what they lost, when it's gone. And you realized. Maybe you were never meant to stay for their recognition. Maybe the lesson wasn't about being seen, but about knowing your worth, before anyone else did. So you did what felt impossible, you stopped. Not out of anger. Not out of revenge. You stopped texting first. You stopped reaching out. You stopped waiting for them to notice. And in that stillness, in the quiet you created for yourself, you found something you hadn't felt in a long time, peace. You started spending your energy on yourself. On your passions. On your growth. On the things that mattered to you, not just to them. And as you withdrew, something shifted. You became more present, more focused, more alive. And they noticed. Not immediately, not with apologies or words, but in the silence that spoke louder than anything you could say. They felt your absence. They realized you were no longer there, to fill the spaces they took for granted. And suddenly, everything you had quietly known about yourself became their undeniable truth. And then, it happened. Not in a text. Not in a call. They felt it. The quiet absence of someone they had always assumed would be there. The empty space where your patience used to reside, the missing voice they never thought they'd miss. At first, it was subtle. A glance they couldn't explain. A hesitation before they spoke. A moment of regret that caught them off guard. And then it grew. Every interaction carried the weight of what they lost. Every conversation reminded them, something vital was gone. Every laugh, every joy they once shared, now hollow, because it was missing the presence of the one who mattered most. And they realized, too late, that no apology, no explanation, no plea could recreate what they had taken for granted. You had already moved on. You had already reclaimed your life, leaving them to face the consequences of their blindness. And you discovered something extraordinary. That quiet moment, that space you carved for yourself, it became your power. You were no longer defined by their approval. No longer trapped by their expectations. Every step you took, every choice you made, became a reminder that your value was never in their hands. You learned that leaving behind what doesn't serve you, doesn't make you cruel. It makes you strong. It makes you free. And in that freedom, you began to rise. To grow. To become the person they never saw, and the person you were always meant to be. Because when they lost you, the world they thought they controlled, turned into a curse. But for you, it became a blessing. If this message reached you, it's because something inside you already knew it. That quiet voice, the one you've been trying to ignore, it's been guiding you all along. And now, you have a choice. Will you step into the calm, the reflection, the awakening, or will you let it fade, like so many before? Remember, this isn't just a story. It's a reminder. And as long as I'm here, Mr. Night Vigil will be the voice you can't ignore. The one that wakes you when the world is silent. Subscribe now, stay with me, and don't miss the next truth waiting for you. Because someone like you is never meant to be overlooked.